What's up? Welcome back to Spokane Valley Archery, y'all. We're doing a little episode of Josh teaching me to shoot better. And it's a special day because I think we're gonna make it outside the lab. We've been inside the lab, nothing but inside the lab so far, so let's go find the man, learn some stuff, and let's make a day of it.
Hi, Timmy.
What is that in his hands? What is that in his hands?
That's a TRX-34 that I was playing with. Still playing with it. It's you know, it's a hunting capable target bow, but it's pretty much a target bow. That's what I've been playing with. In case I haven't worked my way through the 3 bows that I needed to have ready to test and determine which bow I'm going to end up using, I needed something for tack. I threw this together just so I had something ready for tack if I'm not finished with that at that time. But hopefully I am, and then you'll see.
Very non-committal. I can see where Dan gets it from now.
Somewhat of a politician, it would almost seem like.
Very non-committal. This might be virgin territory for me. I don't think I've ever seen Josh shoot his bow. Well, I've seen him shoot foam from 4 feet. He's really good at shooting foam from 4 feet away.
Moose at 130 yards. Yeah. Better than Dan.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's saying much.
I don't know if that's saying much.
Bottom one's 42.7.
We're gonna rip some downhill shots. Josh is gonna take a look, offer us some advice, offer me some advice. I personally have struggled with downhill shots, I will say that. I've felt like I shot better groups uphill than downhill. For right or for wrong, that's just what I've observed thus far. We're gonna let the man, the myth, take a look at me and tell me how to be good.
Let's get it. Not bad, not bad. So first things first, for what we're doing here, this is kind of unfair because you're standing on a flat spot. Okay. So take a step forward where it's harder to be on. Yeah, that's more like it. Grab and rip. Good shot. A couple of things to try to make this a little bit easier. When you start shooting downhill angles, you want to try to put your stance closer together. So if you normally stand and you try to bend over to shoot, it gets really difficult with that wider platform. If you bring your feet closer together, then kind of duck foot a little bit so you don't get the wobble, it gets a lot easier to point down. And then number 2, you want to bend here and bend over like that to make that angle. So grab another arrow.
Narrower stance?
Yep. How your footing is actually pretty good because they're not square to each other. They're at an angle, so when you're getting to a hill, you don't feel like you're going to fall over as easily, so that's good. And then I want you to draw like you're shooting straight out, not like you're shooting down, and then bend only at your waist as you come down to the target.
I've always wondered that personally. You like the straight level, bend at the waist.
100%. The main reason for that is if you try to manipulate anywhere else, between here and here is going to shift and you're going to lose length, so your hand's going to come back farther off your face, and then it's going to be harder to pull through the shot.
Hunting situation, different?
I'd still do it that way, hunting.
If you could?
Yeah. You're always trying to keep this part of your body the same no matter what you do. So basically from your back elbow to your front hand is the same mechanism no matter what. You always rotate at your waist, and we'll do the same thing when we go uphill, but the footing's a little different, and we'll show you that.
Spine perpendicular to the ground, basically?
Yes, just straight, and then when you get it, you pull the bow back square, feet together, and then bend at the waist when you go forward. It'd look more extreme on a steeper angle, but this is a pretty good angle as it is. Shot straight out, and then bend at your waist as you come down. There you go. Well, let's show the uphill.
Target number 2, we're gonna go to the uphill, glean a little more wisdom, and rip a few more arrows.
.49. This says at the 12-degree angle that we're at, you should shoot it for 48. Uphill angle shot is you're actually going to do the complete opposite on the footing, but you're still going to draw at a relatively straight torso line. And depending on what your angle is like, we're at about a 12-degree, 13-degree up angle right here. You probably won't have to bend at his waist at all to do this. Get your front foot set, widen as far as you comfortably can, like bring that back foot back like a foot-ish. There you go. So now if you look at your natural position, you just shifted your whole body back, and you're now probably pretty square to the target without having to bend. Now try to keep your legs relatively square and straight. Hip weight position good. That's good. Okay, now go ahead and try drawing it back, and I bet you're going to be pointed really close to the target already. It's an easy adjustment to make. Just widen your stance and you'll point higher. If you have to come up to it, bend at your waist a little bit when you do it. There you go. Nice. Important thing is that this structure doesn't change. If this structure changes, you're giving up draw length, and then when you go to try to pull through the shot, you won't be able to. Whenever you give an angle difference, you're losing some of your length if you're not careful. So you always want to adjust at your waist, not at your shoulders, and manipulate your stance whether you're going downhill or uphill. So you're going downhill, you bring them together. Uphill, you spread them apart as far as you can. It's an easy trick to get on target a little easier and not fight the point position, not lose any length.
How much draw angle do you think I picked up by going from narrow to wide?
Probably 15 degrees. Like if you went from a 0 degree angle and then dropped back that wide, you probably picked up about a 15-degree angle where you're pointed up. So, and then when you bring your feet together, you go down about 15, but if you have to shoot steeper than 15, then you got to start bending at your waist.
How about draw length? Like all things left the same, I widened my stance. How much do you think I changed my draw length?
As long as you kept this the same, you didn't. That's the whole point. It's that when you start bending at your waist, if you bend it at your shoulders, so if you're pointing at a target like this and then you try to shoot uphill and you do this to do it and you don't actually lean, you're giving up the length, and that's where the problem comes from. If you can keep your torso square, right, and change at your waist, you're not losing length or gaining length. It stays the same. It's just kind of hard to do.
Based on my experience, that felt the most comfortable an uphill shot did, as close to level as it's ever felt.
Yeah.
Being wide like that.
Exactly. Yeah, and moving your stance wider just simply changes the angle your body's going to naturally point at. And at the end of the day, we're trying to get our body's natural point of aim to point at the target before you start.
Uphill is shortening or lengthening your draw length?
Uphill, both of them will shorten your draw length.
Okay.
Period. If you change at your shoulders. Because even when you go downhill, like if you stand square and do this to try to go downhill, this distance gets shorter. That's why you have to bend at your waist so the distance doesn't get shorter. Same thing with uphill. You go uphill and just raise your arm and don't bend your body, the distance gets shorter. So it gets shorter no matter what. It's just it's easier to shoot uphill because widening your stance is simple and it doesn't feel awkward. Putting your feet together will still make you feel a little unstable. It's harder to shoot a downhill angle than an uphill. Uphill's easier, at least for me.
Interesting stuff, guys. Uphill, downhill. Hopefully you gleaned a few nuggets. Josh coming on to be our expert. I'm not at all. I'm just a guy who likes shooting my bow. Dan's pretty good at it. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. Go check out his channel. He's just dumping out information for you guys to soak up. podiumarcher.com. Thank you guys for hanging out. Come back for the next episode because we're going to learn how to shoot, call them side hills?
Side hills are next, yep.
Side hills.
Couple tricks.
I've got a lot of questions for Josh, so hopefully he's going to clean some of that stuff up.